What's up? Another Garo flip through. So, I'm sticking mainly towards like the 70s for now because that's mainly what I've read so far. I haven't touched a Garo issue in ages. Still in the year 73 in terms of my reading journey for Garo. So, might as well just do some more Garo issue flip throughs around that year. So, we've got an issue today that is the 55th issue in the entirety of the run. This is the 1969 January issue with a cover page by Shirato Sanpei. So, if you've got a cover page by Shirato, then you know that you have a big section in here dedicated to Kamui-den, which, of course, will take up like 100 pages or so. But this is the 46th chapter of Kamui-den, so let's just jump into it. And just a reminder again, very excited for the English release. I believe it was Drawn in Quarterly that have licensed the entirety of Kamui-den, and they said something, I believe I saw something along the lines of fall 2024 for the first volume to be released. They are planning for 10 volumes for the entirety of Kamui-den, which I am extremely excited about. Like, in the recent years, we're just getting so much content in terms of Garo, mangaka, gekiga. Like we've covered quite a bunch of the notable mangaka in Garo that are serialized in Garo. You know, Shirato was a big one, but we haven't got anything from him. So pretty happy that we are now. But yeah, in terms of other English works of other Garo mangaka, you have people like Hayshi Seiichi getting a lot of love, the Tsuge brothers, Tsuge Yoshiharu and Tsuge Tadao, Sasaki Maki, nonsense mangaka. You've got people like Suzuki Oji, Shinichi Abe, Tsurita Kuniko. Tons of love given to licensing and translating those works. So really a great time to get into alternative manga. But yeah, that was the Kamui-den chapter, 46th, the 46th one. Next we've got a chapter 2. This is a chapter or a story titled Terashima Town Kitten by Takita Yuu, a frequent contributor to Garo, known for his more whimsical art style and character design. And he does more like slice of life stories, dramas sometimes, but they're usually set in the same places. You know, some in like Japanese, well, it's not rural, it's like semi, well, no, it seems to be set in a town. Yeah, in a town. But yeah, this is chapter 2. I didn't read this one because it's chapter 2. I did read the chapter 1, but it's been a while, so I forgot exactly what's going on. But yeah, again, with Takita Yuu, I adore his art style. And I actually did find he had some animated works based off some of his works were animated, which is really cool. I found them on YouTube a while ago. I put them into the extra resources playlist, but I'm not sure if they got taken down because I don't see them there anymore. I gotta check again. If I find it, I will put it in the description because that's really cool. Having an animated, an anime based off of a Garo creator. Same thing with Hayashi. I found an animated work based on Hayashi's, I think it's titled Kage, like Shadow. I'm pretty sure that's also in the extra resources playlist as well. So take a look at that. But I'm still, anything I find on YouTube that seems interesting, manga related, I usually just chuck it into my extra resources playlist. So check that out if you do want to, because I want to I'm trying to search for other content on YouTube that is like similar to the stuff that I like. So yeah, if you're interested, take a look at that. Okay, next story by another long-time contributor to Garo. This is Teru, which means crane, like the bird, by Shinji Nagashima. Shinji Nagashima, this is his Dansan collection, so his folktale collection. Previous flip throughs, I have gone through other parts of his folktale collection as well. So this one is titled Crane, and the reason why is because we follow this farmer. His name's Yuichi, and one day a crane falls onto his crops, and you can see that there's an arrow attached to the wing. So he helps the crane, pulls out the arrow, and the crane's fine. So he just goes back to tilling the soil. Really cool panel here as well. Love that layout. Love how the sun is like all what's the word? Oh my god, I just forgot the word for that technique. Hatching. Right? Hatching. Yeah. So he goes back to his home. Really cool depictions of the landscape. And while he's warming up at night, he hears a knock on the door, and he finds that a woman is looking for a shelter. And so, because he's such a nice person, he welcomes her in, takes care of her. She gets the bed to sleep in too. But for taking care of her, she asked him to give her 7 days to make something for him, and he's not allowed to enter the room. So he gives her like all this material, and here we go. Next day. Yeah, I think he's had some luck with, I don't know, shopping or something like that. And yeah, so while she is making whatever she's making in the room, he's not supposed to come in, but he goes in and sneaks a peek, and it turns out it's the crane. So the crane is the one that he's served. Oh, so he's taken care of. And so the next day, she reveals to him that she's the crane that he saved, and she's just eternally grateful to him and thankful for his kindness and his gratitude. And so, he asks her to stay because he's so in love with her. She's such a kind person, but she still has to go away. But here he is. And what she leaves for him, I believe was what did she make? Oh yes, she weaved clothes. She made some clothes for him. So she was weaving clothes in the room the entire time. But she said that they can't be together because, she's a crane. There's probably some rules about that. But he has to go back to his normal life and continue farming as usual. So this one was kind of a bittersweet one. Like, it was really wholesome seeing their interactions, but pretty sad as well toward the ending too. But another great folktale adaptation by Nagashima. It's my favorite series from Nagashima. But yeah, that was a cool one. So let's continue onwards. This is this is like a conversation, interview between Tsuge Yoshiharu and someone else, the interviewer, I'm guessing. Let's move on. Okay, this one is another new mangaka to the channel and new to me as well. This is Ooyama Manabu, and it's a story titled Distress. So, what we have here on the cover page, 2 American soldiers. So currently, here we are, we've got a little bit of English too. Some people getting off the plane, US plane, and we start off with the 2 soldiers. One of them is driving, but they are drunk. And so the driver, he confesses to having syphilis, and he starts having like a sort of mental breakdown. So I'm not sure where he starts confessing. So, somewhere along the lines of he starts having a mental breakdown because he has syphilis, and is not mentally okay. So keep in mind, these are two American soldiers. They're in Japan at the moment. And, you know, he's breaking down, but he does not look at the road. And he hits a pedestrian on a bike. So it hits them full on, which is crazy. And it turns out that the person that they hit was a Vietnamese man over here. And because they're soldiers, they have a trigger. Their PTSD is triggered. And they actually pull out their guns and start shooting at the man and actually kills him. So it was like a instinctual thing because of their background as soldiers, which is quite sad. And they start running, just bolting for it. And they're being searched for. Everyone is looking for them. This is a sort of flashback of their time in the war. Right, so just the horrors of war, which is quite sad. But the story ends with them running and questioning whether they can ever escape from the war, ever escape from the conflict. You know, even with the war ending, you're still gonna have trauma and like a lasting damage on your life, which is, it's quite sad. But you know, this was what, 1969, a time where war was such a, you know, war is ever present, but the most recent thing being that. Yeah, that was Distress by Ooyama Manabu. Not too sure if they have any other works in Garo. I do think they do though, but this was just the first issue that I've spotted them in. Next, we've got some Susumu Katsumata 4-koма works again. More of those classic 4-panel manga. We've got a set of illustrations and a story, essays, and we've got a final chapter of the flower emblem, or the flower coat of arms, whatever it's translated to, by Hayshi Seiichi. So this is the final chapter. It's a pretty hard story to understand for me, but essentially what I can grasp is that it's some revenge story between a Yakuza member and a family. Like this man here and this, he's trying to kill or assassinate this other man. And yeah, it's a bit hard to understand, not going to lie. I do believe that this story was licensed in English in one of Hayashi's works. It's either Red Rock or Gold Pollen. I do believe it might be Red Rock. I will confirm and put in the description though. But as always, Hayashi's super creative with the way he lays things out. Amazing artwork. Here we go. More of the conflict. Man with a gun and man with a knife, who he kills. But yeah, it does seem to be some revenge story from what I can grasp. But I really like how, like, very simple, but I love the character design that Hayashi has. Like, just a very cartoony look versus the other characters as well. It's a small thing, but so effective, and I love how much ink Hayashi uses in his manga as well. Like, you can see that the boy and his mom are so different in terms of character design, but it sticks out in the best way possible. Yeah, that was the final chapter of the flower emblem, flower coat of arms, however it's translated, by Hayshi Seiichi. And last but not least, no, actually there's two stories. Second last story is the Sentimental Melody by Tsuge Tadao. which has been translated in English in this book over here. This is Slum Wolf. Actually, was it Slum Wolf or might have been Trash Market? No, yeah, Slum Wolf. Here we go. It's the first chapter in the story in Slum Wolf. This is what it looks like in the English version, just to give you an idea. And then we have the original Japanese version, first appearance. Right, so Tsuge Tadao. And what the story is we have a man who meets this man over here. He meets like an older guy with glasses at a bar, and they start talking about Sabu over here, who was a thug that used to live in the area. And his background was he used to be a kamikaze pilot and was constantly getting into a lot of fights with other people, as we can see here. So these two people at the bar are reminiscing and talking about Sabu. And one day, Sabu actually disappears, but then reappears when he comes back to find that the prostitute he had loved was with an American soldier. And so Sabu confronts the American soldier. Apparently there was a misunderstanding though, but he does still try to go and kill him. But in the middle of that, what had happened was the police actually came in and intervened, but where was it? Police intervened somewhere. Yeah, I think they talk about it. The police intervened and he had to run. Here it is. And none of the two men knew what happened to him after. But it's just them reminiscing about that. Quite interesting as well. But Tadao likes to focus on those, on the war, on lives being affected by the war, that sort of thing. And yeah. So now the last story we have is titled The Vietnam Debate by Sasaki Maki. So to understand this story, we'll have to go back one Garo issue previously. This one here, which I've showed, and I've actually talked about the story before. So I'm not going to spend too much time because this is a 1968 December issue. And if I go back, this story is an untitled story by Sasaki Maki. And this is what it's like. Pretty much like photos with empty dialogue boxes. No speech in the speech bubbles. But when we go to the next issue, it is pretty much exactly the same. But what do we notice instead? We notice that all the speech bubbles have been filled, but it's with nonsensical, they're not full sentences. So they're all a variety of terms in here stringed together, like history, humiliation, gun whip, clothes, resistance. All of these terms are very related to the political landscape at that time. Ryan Holmberg, as I said in the previous video with the other issue, Ryan Holmberg has written a great essay on these stories. It's titled Hear No, Speak No, Sasaki Maki Manga and Nonsense, circa 1970. So he does explain the context behind these two chapters, the politics behind them, and this article is free to read. It is on the Comics Journal. I will put a link in the description, but that is the background behind this story. It is a commentary on the political landscape at that time. Okay, and the last one, we have another Mizuki Shigeru story. This is the Kitaro Night Story, chapter 19. So because it's chapter 19, I do not know what is going on, but this is Nezumi Otoko, the rat guy, the uncle. Wait, is Nezumi a rat or mouse? I forgot. I'm pretty sure it's a rat. But yeah, we've got Kitaro, as usual. I did actually, I haven't really read any Kitaro before. I remember when I was like years and years ago, I remember watching the remake of Gegege no Kitaro, but because I was like a kid, I don't remember anything. I don't remember anything at all about Kitaro. But this is a bit different. It's not Gegege, it's the Night Story, Kitaro Night Story. But yeah, that was the last story of this issue. And on the back, what is this? I'm not too sure exactly what this is advertising. El Diario. I don't recognize it right now. But yeah, that is the 1969 January issue, cover art by Shirato Sanpei. So, hope you guys have enjoyed that one. I will try to get back onto reading more Garo so I can talk about it more. But yeah, see you guys in the next video. Bye.